I mean, if you were in my situation, you might do the same thing. Or you might just sit there and take it. People will get kind of tired of it. They get tired of the shame. So they cry out, you know. They do it in some way so people will listen. If you're in pain, that's what you do. You cry out. And then sometimes the pain goes away in some cases. So the squeaky wheel gets the oil, as they say. A lot of cases. Hey, listen, that guy got some oil. So that's what their house looks like from the side. You can imagine that. They got a little food delivery from Food for Friends. Pretty crazy. Just wanted to get my food delivered to my door. Makes life so much easier when I can just pick up the box and sink my teeth into the chicken. I don't even have to leave my house on Peytonville. You know, Biden's no different than Trump. You know what Biden would do? If he heard my little message, he'd laugh. Trump probably wouldn't. But Biden is no different than Trump at all. Right? You think he's going to give to this channel? You think he's going to help? Trump wouldn't laugh. But him and his little vice president lady, he's just laughing. Trump would not laugh. Right? Please give. Big. That's the rehab, or one of the many that she can go in, right where my soccer field used to be when I was a kid. They put a rehab right there. She can go there and get clean. She needs to go a very, very long time without any beer. A very long time. So right down here is where the war began. This is where I fell and broke my crown. And I had to live in shame for the rest of my life after that day. At a bike race. But there was a long run that we had, which went around this park right here and right over that covered bridge and down this sidewalk right here. We had to run all the way back there in that park back to Bear Creek Intermediate. It's Bear Creek Intermediate School. I was a young boy. I was about 12 or about 12 something, around that. Had to run across that bridge too. Kept running and running and running. Now after the run, I was completely exhausted and tired. My Mongoose BMX bike was sitting there waiting for me because right after I finished the run, I entered into the bike race. Which wasn't a very long bike race. It was more like a sprint thing. So we went like 100 yards, turned around, and went back. There was a mound in the field up here. It was about, I don't know, it happened right here. Many of the kids that year broke many bones, but I fell, nearly broke my neck. When I hit that mound, I went straight up and then straight down on my front wheel and then smashed. My collarbone broke. And there was a woman there. There was also a girl that ran up. I thought I was dead. And it was only my collarbone. I figured it killed me. Like it cracked my neck. But it didn't. I lived on. But from that day on, I had to carry the cross. That was when Jesus told me, you must carry my cross. It was on that day. I wasn't the only unlucky one that broke bones. My friend, who was basically playing baseball, he slid into home base and he compound fractured his upper thigh muscle, or whatever you call it. The upper part of the leg. The bone was sticking out of the skin. That was a pretty bad one. And he almost died in recovery for that. A lot of kids that year broke a lot of bones. We had a marathon runner who was this redhead ginger guy. He could run from Bear Creek Intermediate about almost 20 miles home. He did it all the time. He was an incredible runner for, 6th grade. But, he got through it. He used to beat the bus home. We would see him running past at stoplights. We'd see him running past. He was a redheaded guy. I one time tried to fight him. We met at Fox Lane. It's a dirt-covered Fox Lane. We were just going to fight. We just met to fight. I don't remember exactly how it went down. No one got hurt, though. Not then. He was a heck of a runner, though. So JWW probably tells Adam the Woo, oh, don't pay any attention to Cole. Just don't pay any attention. You know why JWW does that? Because JWW is a coward. And he likes McDonald's. And his wife should file for divorce because he's an embarrassment. Then Adam the Woo loses his family. Oh, no. Right. Because JWW is going in the grave. I'll take JWW to fight and his stupid son. I'll take them both out. The father and the son. Both idiots. Knock his head against his other head. Be all gangs of New York style, only I'll win. Both of them are fools. See, JWW, he was a type of pastor that was paid, where the church pays his way, but buys his wife a house. They got a free ride. No one deserves that. Your children, disgusting.
Let's find right on this right side right here.
support abortion, go to hell. So if you support abortion, you will burn in hell. So anybody that supports the land, that supports the abortion, will fry in the depths of hell. So this road right here is called Brock. My friend Scro, he did some time. You can see the road right here. It says Brock. He was at a concert in Dallas. They busted him with a sheet of LSD on him. And he went to prison. He got out. He went to Europe. And he became a squatter. He lived in Europe for many years. They even hooked up their own electricity. It was like in Eastern Europe or somewhere in Europe. And they hung out with a bunch of squatter, dancer types that did raves and stuff like that for a while. When he came back to the United States, he got into the culinary business. He would find truffles. Truffles are a type of mushroom that's very expensive. So he was able to sell the truffles to expensive restaurants. And eventually he was able to get his own house where he does different artwork. He shows some of his artwork in Oregon. And I asked him to make a shirt for me. I was going to do like a Clockwork Orange theme, but I don't really care. I'd let him make the ultimate decision on what it looks like. But I wanted him to put the Please Subscribe show with Cole Spivey. Maybe something in there about the Linda and Cole band or something, that it's gas. I was going to show you the first place that we ever dropped acid. So the first time I dropped acid, I was about closing on 13 years old. And it was a tab of acid known as dancing test tube. And we tripped for about 10 hours. We laughed and laughed and laughed. I mean laughed. I mean like laughed. And it just blew our minds. I think that night they were watching Pink Floyd The Wall in the house that I'm going to drive by. And I remember just starting to laugh at death. Now there was a lady there at the house. She was a young lady. She was in her teenage years. She had this photograph of a lady combing her hair in a mirror. And if you looked at it a different way, it was a skeleton. And that's the first time I remember feeling the effects of the LSD. And I saw that, and I saw this lady combing her hair in this, It was black and white, and she was combing her hair with this comb, and it just turned and melted right into a skeleton. And I just started laughing. Then I went into the living room, and Pink Floyd The Wall was playing, the cartoon section, where the character was turning into a leaf, and then a man, and then a leaf, and then a man, or something like that. And then you could see these airplanes flying over here, and you got that dun 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 dun, and I was just tripping. Well, Sean, who's Scro, his grandfather Hank, who was a World War II guy, he picked us up. Supposedly Hank was behind the invention of the nuclear bomb, supposedly, or the atomic bomb. Supposedly he was behind something. He was a physicist, he was a chemist. But Sean keeps it quiet. But he was somewhere, there's a lot of people that were behind that. Thousands and thousands of scientists. So his grandfather was a scientist. And we went to his house in Haltom, and we went into the bedroom. We had these little glow stick things. We also had these glow strings, and we spun them around, and they looked like pizza dishes in the air, like glowing pizza dishes. Then we went in the backyard, and we watched the bushes turn into dinosaurs, basically. I mean, we tripped out hard. We also used to smoke bowls and watch Cheech and Chong. And this is at 12 and 13 years of age. It's very, very young for a child to do LSD. Now we're approaching here. A lot of the LSD was made in Deep Ellum, and Dancing Test Tube was the first one. He said, "Hey man, you want to try some Dancing Test Tube?" The house was down here, and there was a young lady that lived there. Her parents were never really there, and she allowed us to start tripping there, and Hank dropped us off right here, and there it is. That was the first house I tripped acid in. 320 Brock. Or it's very close to that house. It was on this side right here. I believe it might have been that house. And then he picked us up, and I remember sitting in the back seat and laughing all the way to Haltom and thinking to myself, man, I've never laughed this hard in my entire life. I think I did LSD a few other times when I was about 17 or so. I did it a few times. But hey, that was Generation X. We're in Keller, Texas right now. That's Brock. So I was born in 73, and that event happened with dropping of the dancing test tube and the LSD. That happened in probably 86 or 87. 1986, 1987. Now I'm big time anti-drug. So I do not like any type of drugs. And what makes me mad is when a woman is coerced to do drugs, meaning when other disgusting lowlifes push drugs on other women. I'm also against alcohol, especially alcoholism. I mean, I'm not gonna put you down if you have a drink every once in a while, but alcoholics, they hurt other people. And the only way they can get help is by rehabilitation. Alcoholism will end up killing you. That's what alcohol does. And it hurts other people too. So pray for the alcoholics as well. I no longer abuse illegal drugs because it kills. And alcoholism is just as bad. Cigarettes are no good either.